Hi guys, Lokesh here. Welcome to another video. This one is going to be the follow-up of the previous video where we discussed about how we can create our first pipeline. What are the steps involved in creating our first pipeline right from the scratch? So thank you for liking that video. And my friend or my mate asked a question, and it was a very valid question. And he asked a question on the sequential flow of the data flows. So he had a question that if one of the data flows take 4 or 5 minutes to start up the clusters or to provision the VMs, the Spark clusters required for the transformation to happen, then if we have n number of our data flows in a pipeline, wouldn't it take a lot of time and wouldn't there be a lot of overhead just to start the clusters? Simple example is if you have four data flows as connected as you can see on our screen, and if you run them sequentially, then it means that if one of the data flows take 4 minutes to start the clusters, the entire pipeline will take 16 minutes just to start up the cluster, and that's quite a huge overhead, especially when you have very small volumes of data. So the processing of the actual data can take place within minutes or within seconds, but most of the times will be used to start up the clusters. So how do we deal with that? What is there that the Microsoft recommends in terms of reducing the time to start up the clusters? So we'll discuss more on that. But before that, I think it's pretty obvious, and some of you folks might not know about it. So I just wanted to convey right now that the data flow uses the integration runtime, which in turn spins up the Spark clusters, the scaled out Spark clusters, which basically handles your transformation involved in a particular pipeline. So this is the thing that you need to remember while discussing about the data flows or while fine tuning the data flows. So the data flows uses Spark clusters. So keeping this in mind, now you have something called time to live property of the integration runtime, that is Azure integration runtime. Obviously we're talking about the Azure integration runtime because data flows only run on Azure integration runtime. And there is something called TTL, which means time to live, which basically means that this is the property or this is the time duration during which your clusters will be live or will be set to live and the VMs will be active, so that they can handle the load or they can handle the execution of the various transformations or the activities. So this is especially useful when you have sequential data flows or you have jobs running one after the another. So there are two cases. One is just we saw in the first slide that you have data flows running in sequential way. In this manner, if first data flow finishes execution, then the second data flow can use the same cluster in order to do the execution. It doesn't have to spin up cluster or start cluster right from the beginning, so it can use the same cluster. So that is one thing. And then you can have a scenario where you have two jobs or the same job that executes multiple times. Then after the first execution, it may take more time if the TTL is set to 0, which is the default property. And what it means is that it has to again wait for the clusters to spin up or the VMs to be ready so that the execution or the transformation can take place. So in this particular case, time to live is an important property. So we will see how, if we set this property to say 10 minutes, how that affects the overall performance of the data flow. The expectation is the time for the execution should come down. So we will see that, we'll do a practical on that. And as I said, so what we'll do right now is we'll see where we can set the TTL property for a given IR. Then we will execute the data flow after setting the property, and we will again execute the data flow for the second time, and we will notice that the difference between the first execution and the second execution is significant. And then we will do another experiment or another run of the data flow when the time elapsed for the TTL that we have set has passed. For example, if you had set the TTL 10 minutes and if the data flow executes, let's say some random time, 4 o'clock, 4 p.m., and then what we are trying to do in this case is we'll see how the data flow execution takes place when we are running it at 4:20 p.m. So we'll see all that in practical. So let's do the practical now. Let's pull up the Azure portal. So this is the Azure portal. I've already launched the ADF account, and as you can see, we have three integration runtimes for this particular account, and the one that we are interested in is cloud integration runtime. And once you click on the coding part of it, just wanted to take a step back here. Just wanted to tell you that I've been researching how we can change the TTL with the help of UI, but for some reasons I'm not able to do that, because you can see here it's highlighted in gray color, which means it's disabled. We cannot really change it, and it's already set to 10 minutes, which I did as when I was preparing for this video. So if you know how we can do that using the UI, just comment in the boxes below, in the comment box below, so that we all get an idea of how we can do that. Microsoft has given a screenshot where you just hover on top of the integration runtime. It gives you 3 points where you just click on that. It gives you the option of editing that particular integration runtime. But for us, I'm not able to see that, so not sure what is missing. I actually spent 5 or 10 minutes yesterday to find out where it is. Then I ultimately used the coding window to make the changes. So here you can see the important property that we're talking about is time to live, and currently it's set to 10. 10 here represents minutes, so the unit is minutes, so you always keep that in mind. So we will now click on OK. Now what we will do is we will try to execute a pipeline which has a data flow inside it. So don't worry about what the pipeline is doing or what the logic is, business logic is. We are just concerned about we just want to know about the time to start up the clusters. So we have a pipeline here. This is the same pipeline, and we have one data flow inside it. So we will be looking at the scenario where we are executing the same job multiple times. So having set the TTL now, the expectation would be when we run this pipeline again, it will use the same clusters that are set by the first run, and the time for executing this pipeline should considerably come down. So let's see that in practical now. So let me just trigger it, and we will wait for some time. I think it might take 3 to 4 minutes. So we'll connect back again. So we are back again. So the pipeline has just finished execution, and you can see that it took 4 minutes 50 seconds to be exact. And if we drill down inside the pipeline, let's see how much time it took for the clusters to spin up, and it took around 3 minutes 50 seconds. So now we will try to run the pipeline again, and we will monitor the execution time. And as I mentioned before, as we saw before, that the TTL has been set to 10 minutes. So if we go down, if we again go to the monitor tab, which we are going to do now, you can see that the pipeline was executed at the start time of the pipeline was 4:33. That necessarily not mean that this is the start time of the clusters. What it basically means is the pipeline was executed at this time. So the clusters might have started around 4:35, 4:36, just to guess an approximate value. So which means that 4:36, 4:37 plus 10 minutes, that is 4:47, is the time during which the clusters should be alive, or the VMs should be available. So let's see whether the live clusters are able to handle the second execution of the same pipeline or the same job. So let's do that, and we will go to the author tab again and trigger the pipeline. And just to tell you the current time. Current time is 4:36 p.m., which is IST. So let's try to run this again, and we have now just triggered the pipeline, and then we'll be back again, guys. I think it might take lesser time, but uh, I will come back again and will show you how much time it took. We're back again, guys. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to make one correction from the previous part where I was explaining about the start time and the TTL window. So actually, the start time was 4:28, not 4:33, and the start time at which the clusters would have spinned up would have been somewhere around 4:31, 4:32. So if you add 4:31 plus 10 minutes, that comes out to be 4:41. So just wanted to make that correction. So coming back to the second run of the same job, so it was started at 4:37, which means that it would have used the existing clusters which were live, and you can immediately see that the duration has come down to 2 minutes 31 seconds. It's still a little on the higher side because we would have expected it in seconds. Maybe it's because you have two jobs running in parallel. So this is something that we can check or we can investigate in the further videos. But if you drill down inside the pipeline, you will notice that the time required to start up the clusters was fairly less. It was 1 minute 28 seconds and not nearly 4 minutes in the previous one. Uh, I'm not sure why it is still taking 1 minute, but maybe it's trying to identify the clusters, available clusters, or something else is going on under the hood. If you know about it, just please try to comment in the comment box below. But I'll try to do some more research on top of it. So I think what we were trying to see here has worked, or what was the expectation has actually happened here. So the second run of the pipeline has used the clusters that were made ready during the first run. Now comes the third part. What we will do now is we will run the pipeline again, let's say at 4:50. So I just wanted to make sure that the TTL, the time to live, has elapsed and the clusters are no longer live. So what it means is that the job has to start up the clusters again, and the execution time should come back at 4:50 again. So that's the expectation. So I'm going to start the pipeline at 4:50, and we will meet then, guys. So yeah, let's meet at 4:50 then. So guys, we are back again. So it's almost 4:50. So let's try to run the pipeline. So now the time to live period would have elapsed, which means that the clusters will no longer be live, and which in turn means that the pipeline should again take 4 minutes 50 seconds. So let's see whether that happens or not, and we will trigger the same job. So again, I said this is a case of running the same job multiple times, but I think the concepts apply even for the sequential flows of the data flow, sequential runs of the data flow. So that is something we can explore in the coming videos, or if you have explored that already, just please don't hesitate to comment your findings in the comment box below. So yeah, so let's go back to the monitor tab again, and as we are expecting it would take 4 minutes or nearly 5 minutes, we'll connect back again. So guys, we are back again. It's 4:56, and you can clearly see that the pipeline has just finished execution, and it took around 5 minutes, which we expected because it had to start up the clusters again. And let's try to drill down inside the pipeline and see how much time it took for the clusters to start. And you can see that it's again back to 4 minutes. So this is it, guys. Time to live property enables you to use the same clusters in case if you have multiple execution of the same job, or you have data flows running in sequentially. One thing to be noted is if you have data flows running in parallel inside the same job, then the TTL will not come in handy, and the Microsoft advises that the TTL should not be set in that case, because these two parallel execution of the data flows will use separate clusters, and the clusters will not be shared. So which means that there is no point in turning on the TTL, because it will add to the overhead. So remember this, only in case of sequential data flows, execution of the data flows, you should enable the TTL. So this is it, guys. I hope you got some value out of this video, and thanks again to Gaurav for raising that question. And if any of you have any questions, please ask me, and I'll be most pleased to help you and come up with the video. So till then, take good care of yourself and stay safe. Bye, guys.